Have you ever asked yourself, am I working on the right thing? Is the work that I'm doing really the most meaningful work that I need to do right now? Well, in order to answer that question, you need to be able to understand what you're trying to achieve. What is it? What is the impact you're trying to make with the work that you're doing? Without understanding that, you really can't answer that question. And in many cases, we do our work on routine. We do our work without really reflecting on, is this the right thing to do? Is this the most value creating activity that I can sort of put my effort into right now? Or is there something else I can do that is better based on the current conditions, the current state of things? So in order to help answer this question, is this the work that I'm doing right now the most meaningful and valuable work that I can do right now at this particular moment in time? We can use our old friend, the result chain. The result chain is basically a very simple model to help answer this question of meaningful work. Is the activities that I do is leading to some kind of output, and that output should in turn lead to some kind of outcome, which we here define as some kind of change of behavior, or some person is using the outputs that I have created. And this outcome in turn should lead to some kind of impact, some kind of system level impact that I want to achieve. And here you have a chain of sort of, or you can say actually an hypothesis of work. You're saying that if I do these activities, it should lead to this output within the budget and the time constraints that I have, and this output should lead to this outcome if the output is used the way that I intended to be used, and this outcome should lead to some kind of higher level impact. So let's take an example as to explain this a little bit better. Let's say that I'm doing this video. That's an activity. This is right now. I am involved in this activity of doing this video. The output is the video itself. When you're watching this, you're watching the output of the work that I'm doing. And the fact that you're actually watching this is the outcome. And because you could have chosen to do something else with your time, but you have sort of chosen to watch this video you're probably expecting some kind of value from it, some kind of insight or some kind of idea that you can use in your work. And that idea is of course the result chain itself. And if enough people do this, and if enough people sort of take this into consideration and start using this result chain and change the way that they make decisions and the way they work, in the end we will have a much better performing organization, and we will be able to serve our customers better, and that would be sort of the big system level impact. And so that is a very simple example of how this result chain can help you identify the most important thing to do right now. And you might have noticed while I'll explain this that I said that this activities might lead to this, and the outputs might lead to this outcome. That is a very important thing to understand here. As I explained, this is a hypothesis of work. We don't know for sure if the activities we do actually will lead to the impact that we want to achieve. There is uncertainty in each step, and this uncertainty, I think, should be exposed and talked about and put into the light so that we can manage it and control it. Because what we want in the end is a chain where each link is sort of strong and short, which means that it's strong in the sense that yes, there is a very, very high certainty, very high probability that this output will lead to this outcome. That means it's a strong link. The relationship between these two are very certain. And also what we want is of course a short chain. We don't want many links in this chain, basically. I mean, what we're saying is that if we're doing this activity, it will lead to this output, so that this outcome will happen, so that something else will happen, so that a third thing will happen, so that, and so forth. And eventually you end up with an impact. That means that you have a very long chain, and it's even worse than if the links in the chain are weak, that they have high uncertainty. That means that you actually don't know at all if the activities you do are the right things. So what we want are basically short chains that are strongly linked, so that we can everyone in the organization can clearly explain, I'm doing this work in order to achieve this outcome, so that we're together can reach this impact. So I encourage you to try and, with the work that you do, try to write a result chain on your own. What is the activity that you're doing? What is the output of that activity? How will that outcome be used? And is there some kind of so that chain here as well? So I mean, you're doing something, maybe you're building something that generates a report of some kind. So what does it mean that, okay, people are actually looking at the report, they're actually using the report, so that they are making better decisions, I suppose. Maybe they are changing how they invest or how they use their time, so that some benefit from that occurs. Maybe costs are reduced in some part of the organization or something like that. How many so that's are there in your result chain? How many links in the chain is it in your result chain until you can say, this is where there actually is a system level impact based on the work that I have. Just try to build that chain on your own and see where you end up. And who knows, maybe you discover that the work that you're doing right now is actually not the most meaningful and impactful work to be done, but you should choose to do something else. So good luck.